All right, that button been pressed. Let's make sure that we're live so the entire world can hear the message that we have for them. We shall provide the message. And holy cow, we are live.
We are?
1 second in, it says. All right, we are officially live. We're ready to take on the world here today. We're going to talk about something that we're taking viewer requests today, and today's viewer request comes all the way from Arkansas. I have no idea if that's where it came from. And it's dealing with local YouTube channels and something that people have asked me to talk about for a while, so we're going to talk about that today because I'm starting to use it again.
Oh. Groovy.
So we'll talk about what that's all about. And I've got a great strange sales call situation.
Oh.
That you guys will love. You'll love that. So, and we'll talk about how I dislike the new YouTube stuff.
Yeah, you don't like it.
Looks
He'll
nice.
tell you what he doesn't like about it. And it's
Looks
a legitimate gripe. So.
It is. It's not just an aesthetic one. It's a legitimate one. All right. So, Steve, are you ready? Let's get the show on the road before
I indeed am ready, Ray.
Asleep. All right. Then here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about local YouTube channels, and I'm going to share a very strange sales call. And I think you guys will appreciate it. A strange situation. And you guys will love it. But today's episode is made possible by a product that's going to help you to get more sales calls. I'm talking about Lead Kahuna. Lead Kahuna is the software that will allow you to do a great, tremendous, amazing search of local businesses, pull up every bit of information you could possibly want to know about them. I think it even tells you their waist size. I could be wrong, but I believe it might have that information in there as well. It'll give you everything from their name, address, phone number, how many people work there, the owner of the company, how much money the company makes per year, social media, YouTube, you name it, it's in there. How many good reviews, bad reviews, who left the reviews, all of that inside of one software that you can then use to automatically mail to each one of those people to start marketing to them. So if you can separate them out and say, you know what? I want all the people that don't have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to sell them a YouTube channel. And I want all the people that don't have a secured website with SSL. You can pull them out and send messages and sell them SSL. You could pull out everybody with star reviews under 4. So they got a 3.9 or lower and mail them. You could just mail everybody if you wanted to and offer them something. You can do anything you want. You can even do voice calls automated to all of those people, and you can even send mailings through the mail, believe it or not. So it's all inside one program, Lead Kahuna. It's what we use for all of our leads. We're going to be starting to use LinkedIn a little bit more, but right now, all of our leads come directly from Lead Kahuna. We run that program every single day, and we call people every single day, and we email people every single day, and it's all directly through Lead Kahuna. Got to check it out. You want local leads, you got to check it out.
Are you doing live calling, or is it the voice broadcast?
Both. Adam does live calling, and he's putting together the voice calls, which I've used the voice calls in the past, but he's going to do it since he's kind of leading the sales charge now. So he's going to be putting in his voice messages, and Lead Kahuna is going to automatically send those voice messages out. So it's good stuff.
That is really a nice plug-in they got there. Works very well.
Absolutely is. Yeah. Absolutely is. So check it out. You want to check it out? You want to see it? Go to raythevideoguy.com/leads, and you'll be able to watch the webinar that we did and check out the program. It's well worth it. Yes.
Fabulous.
All right, Steve, we're ready to hit that music.
We are.
All right, here we go.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise, and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
And it's the radio. Oh, hey, I got 119 total leads. It just stopped from Lead Kahuna. and I think it's Colorado Springs, and I think
Excellent.
it's carpet cleaners.
Beautiful. 119
Yes.
carpet cleaners in that town.
Yes, isn't that cool? All right, so it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. And if you're not all linked up to everything we're doing, like the podcatchers and the social media, just head on over to govmm.com. It's all there. Landing page, all the shows are there. So.
Absolutely. Got to do it.
Yeah.
Got to leave those reviews. Head on over to iTunes. Leave a review
yeah.
for us. Tell us how wonderful we are, because we are very narcissistic here. And we like to hear people say nice things about us. So be sure to do that.
You think Donald Trump is narcissistic?
That's right. He's got nothing on me.
Yeah.
I'm huge. Huge.
Huge, I tell you.
Tremendous stuff.
Tremendous, absolutely.
All right, Steve,
tremendous.
have you used the new YouTube uploading system?
I have, quite a bit.
I have as well, a little bit. Now, fortunately, I've been so busy with a lot of other things. I use a lot of automation tools to upload videos and whatnot. And when I'm doing my videos, a lot of times I'm just shooting one video and uploading it. And it's wonderful for that. It really is. It's a nice new system. It really kind of guides you through making sure that you do everything you should do, including checking off that it's not or it is for kids. But when you have to upload multiple videos, it's a disaster. You can't do it anymore. In the old days, if I had 10, 20 videos, I'd take those 10, 20 videos, dump them in there, and just go, title, description, title, description, title, description, title, description. In a lot of cases, half the description was the same, so you just copied and pasted it anyway, and you could get through that pretty quickly and then just wait for all of them to upload. Well, now you can't do that. You upload one at a time, you wait, and then you upload the next one, and then you wait, and then you upload the next one, and you wait. What do you got to say about that?
Classic Studio, is that interface still there, that option?
The Classic Studio option is still there, but when you hit upload, it's going to go to the new one anyway.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I've been so busy over the last couple of weeks that I haven't been able to play around with it much. So maybe somebody's going to pop on and go, "Hey, dummy, there's a batch upload button somewhere that I don't know about yet," and maybe there is. I haven't found one yet, but I haven't really looked either. But speaking of that, the classic versus the new, believe it or not, I was doing some work the other day. I still went back to the classic, just because I find it. I get in there. Oh, what menu is this in? Hidden in this, and I can't find the things I'm looking for anymore. So I just go to classic and I do it that way. I gotta really start playing with the new one a lot more, just because it's too easy to go back to the classic. But the batch uploading thing is really kind of a bee in my bonnet.
Yeah,
bee
I
in my
can see
bonnet.
why.
I'm 70
A bee in
years
your
old.
bonnet. A bee in your bonnet.
In my bonnet.
Bonnet.
Right.
You're on it.
And I don't mean in
With
a
a bee
car.
in your
I'm not
bonnet.
British. I'm not British, so I'm not talking about a car. I'm talking about a hat.
No, not a car. Not a bee in your engine or in the wings.
That's right.
Yeah, well, you do a lot more in YouTube than I do. I upload a couple of videos a week, probably on average, and I've just made the commitment to work with the new Creator Studio all the time, because I know that classic interface is going to go away at some point, so I might as well get used to it. And so it works fine for me, but it's interesting.
It's nicer looking, and it works fine.
Yeah.
And I just get confused and forget where half the stuff is, and I'm like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, well, and again, you do a lot more. So, for instance, the batch upload thing, that was great for you. Yeah.
Yes. Fortunately, I haven't been doing a lot of batch uploading lately, so it hasn't mattered. But today, I had to upload, I don't know, probably like 40 videos. Not 40 at a time, fortunately, because I had to do different things. So it was like 10 here, 10 here,
Yeah,
10
but
here,
still-
10 here.
but still, yeah.
what a pain in the neck that was.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It was enough to kill you, I say. Enough to kill you.
It's enough to make you go to the chiropractor. Pain in the neck.
It's one of those things that make you go, That's for all you 90s kids out there like me. Things that make you go, Now, where's that
What's
from,
that
Steve?
from?
Do you even know?
I don't know. I'm not a 90s kid.
Well,
Where's
it's
that
two
from?
places, really. There's two answers to that. Arsenio Hall used to say that.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
there was a song, which I believe was, I think it was the CNC Music Factory was the ones that did this. Things that make you go,
No, I don't know that one.
Anyway, that's a early 90s reference there for those of us that grew up in
So
the
right now,
late
what
80s,
you could
early
just
90s.
say is, okay, boomer. You know, 'cause that's,
Okay, boomer. That seems to be the popular thing now, yes.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle there.
How
I'm right in the
insulting.
middle.
Like the smartest people on our
Yeah.
planet, and people just make fun
Whatever.
of them like that.
Whatever. I don't care.
But in any
Yeah.
case, all right.
Yeah.
So enough of that
I mean,
YouTube thing. I got another great story that I wanted to tell. I was actually going to do a live video this morning. I said, I'll just wait and tell it on the radio today. Well, I say the radio podcast. I still say the radio because we're live, but it's a podcast. But the strangest sales call I've ever had, and it's kind of misleading to say call because it was actually mostly done through Facebook, but still kind of a sales call. So what happened was I was actually working on a flip property out in Monroe, Georgia, which is a little east of here, heading out towards Athens. And I found this little house. It was falling apart, needed probably about $50,000 worth of work. And so I needed a contractor that was out in that area. We didn't end up buying this particular property anyway. It ended up needing more structural work and, would have been better just tearing it down at that point. I wasn't going to do that. So I called this one contractor company that was recommended to me, and I had this guy just answers the phone like, huh? I'm like, hi, is this? And I said the name, and he's like, yeah. And I said, well, I'm looking at a property here, and I'm going to need a contractor. Click, and he hangs up on me. And so I was like, you son of a gun. And I went on to Google, and I wrote the exact situation of what happened. I said, I wouldn't call these guys 1 star, blah, blah, blah. Here's what happened. Well, last night I got a message on Facebook from a guy, and he said, hey, I'm the owner of that company, and I saw your review. He says, I don't think it was us that you called. He says, there's no way we would have said that to somebody on the phone. He says, I think you might have called the wrong number, and the guy was just confused. So I talked to him for a minute, and I said, okay, well, I told him, I said, you're telling me that, I'm going to believe you. I said, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to change that and get that out of there for you. And I did. I got rid of that review, and I even put a 5-star review and said, hey, this guy really cares about, his reputation and the people he works with and blah, blah, blah. So I gave him a nice one, and, he asked me what I did, and I told him, and he's like, oh, well, I need help with that. And so this call of, hey, can you remove that 1-star review because I don't think it's accurate, turned into now we're talking about doing reputation and rep videos and
Well, that's cool.
and everything like that. So and I even made him a demo rep video last night, and he was really excited about that. But talk about a strange sales call from a 1-star review and a complaint about a wrong number and a plea to get a 1-star review removed turned into possibly us working together, on some marketing. So
I speaking of that, I was prospecting for DUI lawyers one day, and I ran across, I think he's in Fargo. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's about my age. Okay. Now, guys about my age typically don't understand Google, social media, none of that stuff. I mean, when I tell my buddies from college what I do, their eyes roll in the back of their heads.
what
And
do you do? I don't understand it all.
I don't understand it at all. And so the phone number on this Google My Business is his cell phone. He's just him. He doesn't have an admin.
This section of the program is brought to you by Ring Central. Ring Central, providing you with phone numbers and answering services since
There you go.
1998.
And he was interested in what I did, he was interested.
Sure.
And I told him, and I said, yeah, but you're obviously a good criminal defense attorney. You're an excellent criminal defense attorney, because I dug deep into this whole thing. But he had a bunch of 1-star reviews because people would kind of call him at the wrong time, and he'd be in a bad mood, and it went through to his cell phone, and he might be in court or something, and he'd answer it. No, I can't talk now. And so he had a bunch of 1-star reviews, and I started telling him about that. I think I probably even talked about Ring Central. I probably did. He did not get it, and it actually kind of pissed him off that I was telling him about this stuff, So I just said, well, I can't help you, I mean, you got to be willing to make that fundamental change. And he wasn't willing to do it. So that was my strange sales call, and it didn't turn out positive like yours.
Well, this one may turn out positive. You never know. You never know.
Well,
but he was very, very excited when he saw the video, that rep video that we made for him. He was very excited. If you don't know what we talking about with rep videos, it's a program that it goes out and it finds a company's 5-star reviews, and then it pulls it in and it makes a video out of the 5-star review, and not just. It doesn't just throw it up on the screen. It has a spokesperson that gets put into the beginning that talks about 5-star reviews. Then it shows the 5-star review and talks about how they're happy to have this great company, etc. And then it shows the spokesperson and a call to action at the end. So they're very nice looking, professionally produced videos, but it's all done through automation. It's all done through computers. So even though so I talked to him and I was able to put one together for him. All I had to do was spend 5 minutes setting it up, and it did the work for me on that and put that video together. But he was through the moon for it. And in fact, said, I got it right here, and he says, this is so awesome. Mind if I share the review video you made? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the point. Share it everywhere. Get it to everybody you possibly can. Yeah. But I'm going to try and we're going to have hopefully an actual sales call soon so we can really go over that. But that's just turning a typical, well, I guess that's not typical, but an average interaction into sales. I did that it was my birthday last week, and we went out to dinner, and one of the people that was at dinner with us, she's also a marketer. And so I was there with myself, my wife, my kids, her husband, and a couple other friends. And she happened to be sitting on the side of me here, and I said, "Hey, watch this." And so I don't know if I told this story already. I may have told this story last week.
No, you haven't.
Hopefully I didn't. Okay. So the waitress comes over, and I said to the waitress, I told the girl next to me, I said, "All right, watch what I'm going to do." I said to the waitress, "Hey, I'm about to leave a 5-star review. Sorry, let me change that again. I'm about to leave a review on Google, but could I talk to the manager before I do that?" And of course, you kind of see in the eyes, the dilating of the eyes and the sweat pouring down the head. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong here? So, of course, the manager comes back, and you can see the manager walking over with a panicked look on her face and says, "Okay, what's going on? What can I do?" I said, "Well, I'm about to leave a 5-star review for you. But before I did that, I just wanted to let you know I really enjoyed this experience, and I want to actually make a video for you. If you could give me the owner's contact information, I'll send it over to them." And so, okay, great. And turned having dinner into a sales meeting. Now, sadly, as far as I know, the owner has not even opened the email that I sent them with this free video. But that kind of didn't surprise me at this place. It's a great restaurant, but it marketing-wise, I don't think they get marketing and email and websites and things like that. So who knows what'll happen? But maybe someday it's going to be one of those things where 2 months from now they're going to contact me and go, "Hey, I just got your email."
Yeah, that happens.
Which happens quite a bit. In fact, I got one of those yesterday as well. Somebody, in fact, it was this guy here, because that review that I left was from like 3 or 4 months ago. So when he contacted me, I didn't even know what he was talking about. I had to go back and look. And I was like, "Oh, this one," So sometimes these guys don't get it right away. And by the way, that's something to think about as well. You got to be persistent with anything that you're doing in this field. Even with Adam, then my new partner that does all the sales stuff, I told him, I'm like, you're going to find these people that are going to say, "Hey, I want one of these videos," or "I want social media marketing." And then it's going to be weeks before you actually ever speak to them, because you're going to try and 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 you're going to try. And then finally they're going to get back to you and do it. And that's what I've seen. One of our new customers is a carpet cleaner. I started talking to him in the middle of November, end of November, and he was the one that signed on January 1st. I met him on New Year's Day and signed him up. Mm-hmm. So you think about that. That was, a month and a half before we finally got together and actually did it. And that was with him on day one going, "Yeah, I totally want to do this." And then a month and a half goes by. So you just have to be persistent with that. And it can be
They get busy with operations and take care of customers.
Yeah, they're not there for you. They're there to be a dentist. They're there to be a chiropractor. They're there to clean carpets or whatever it is they do, new roof. So they want what you have, but they don't necessarily have all the time in the world to talk to you about it. And we've seen that a few times. I'm dealing with a dentist like that now. I haven't left her alone. I've been harassing her like crazy. But she called me, so she can't complain that I'm harassing her. She called me first.
Yeah, and dentists are especially difficult to get a hold of because they go like crazy. I know my dentist, he's boom, 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 one chair to the other, one chair to the other, one chair to the other. And so it's tough to get their attention. Now, let me shift gears just a little bit on the rep videos. When that, I don't know, it was when it first came out, but a couple of months ago, you mentioned that you could also distribute that via social media. Now, when you create the rep video, does it do that automatically, or do you?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
It does that all automatically. So, for instance, I made a video yesterday. Well, I made a video a couple days ago. I put it out yesterday that showed how I set up a campaign for an entire year's worth of videos for one client, where I spent a half hour setting them up, and now that's going to go for an entire year, and they're just going to send me a check every month for those videos. But I don't really, other than just making sure that something crazy didn't happen, I don't have to do anything anymore at this point as far as that goes. I go in, I set the videos up, I'm doing one a month, so I chose 12 testimonials that he had, 5-star testimonials to use in those videos, set the videos up, and now every month it's going to automatically upload that to YouTube and put it out to Facebook and Daily Motion and Twitter and all those Tumblrs and LinkedIn and whatever. It's going to send the video out to all of those places automatically. And we don't really have to do much of anything for that unless there's some sort of error. Like, for instance, maybe at the time the video was going out, YouTube was down or something like that.
Which happens.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's just going to go. You don't have to do too much to watch that or to keep much of an eye on it. So it just kind of runs with or without you. So it's kind of nice. It's a very good.
Very cool. Yeah, very cool. So we're going to talk about local YouTube channels today.
Well, and that's a good little segue, because one of the things that we actually do in rep videos, at least for some of the areas, is we actually not only distribute out a video to their YouTube channel, but we also put in a local YouTube channel. And that way their video is going to multiple YouTubes at the same time, and hopefully either or both is getting ranked really well. And what I mean by a local YouTube channel is, and this is something that goes back years ago when I lived out in Utah, we did one of these, and we did it for a while. And as we moved on to other things, we kind of neglected it, I have to admit. But it was a very effective platform, is to create a local YouTube channel for businesses. So in the case of there, I did one, it was called Best Utah Businesses. And so when we worked with businesses in different areas in Utah, we would put them on that channel, and we would have a section of that channel for dentists, and one section for chiropractors, and one section for roofers, and one section for carpet cleaners. And all the clients that we had, we would put their videos on that channel so that it kind of became a local directory of sorts for that. And so that's what I've been doing again here locally. I've done one recently for Snellville. I've done one for Loganville. And although I must admit, I haven't done all the work on it yet. They exist. I've been putting things on there, but they do have to be cleaned up and optimized a little better and everything. But it can be a very effective selling tool in a lot of ways. One, when you get a client and you're talking to them, or a potential client, and you're saying, hey, we're going to make videos for you. We're going to distribute it to your YouTube channel and your Facebook and your LinkedIn and what have you. We also say, oh, by the way, we have a local Snellville YouTube channel where we put local businesses in there as well. And we need to have a dentist, lawyer, whatever, in there. So we're going to put you in there as well. Make sure that you show up in there. Any videos that we do for you will all show up in there. And that'll just be another opportunity to get your name, address, phone number out there, another chance to rank on YouTube or Google. And it just really helps. And they go, oh, wow, that's a really good thing. And so I'm going to start building a lot more of those, because I want to make sure, like I said, I've got one in Snellville, I've got one in Loganville, I'd like to do one in Lawrenceville, I'd like to do one in Grayson. These are all little cities around me, Lilburn. And then that way each of them have one of those. And many of these clients, by the way, will fit into multiples of those. So the carpet cleaner that we just signed, he's in Loganville, but his business is actually in Grayson. And Grayson is a tiny town right next to Snellville. So we're going to put him into the Loganville, the Snellville, the Grayson, the Lawrenceville. He'll be in all of those YouTube directories, YouTube channels, so that his video is being uploaded to all these different places. And that's every one of his videos. So each month, and it's all automated, in this case through rep videos, but obviously if you're not using Rep Videos, you do this manually, but we'll actually put this into Rep Videos. So every time a new Rep video comes out for that guy, it's going to put it into all those different YouTube channels as well as all the other channels at the same time. And that's going to do a couple of things for you. One, it's going to help your clients. It has value. So when you try to sell them, you tell them about that. It has extra value to them. It's going to help them to rank in more places at more than one time. And it's going to build your channel. So this Snellville channel is my channel. I own that. I can do what I need to with that. I can put my sales stuff on there. I can have the trailer video on there be me talking about Snellville and saying, hey, if you want your stuff listed here, you can do that. And it's going to help to build that channel so that everything that comes in there will start to rank a lot quicker because you've got a lot of power behind that. It's going to become a powerful channel very quickly. In fact, we're also doing one for our new business. And I haven't talked much about that on here yet, but the new business, by the way, it's called Act Now Partners. Our big theme is Act Now. So everything is, Act Now Media, Act Now Marketing, Act Now Video, Act Now Social Media. And we've got an Act Now YouTube channel where we're going to put all those clients in there as well. And that's going to be more of a national type thing, but all those clients will now have another place where their videos will be listed. But in this case, I'm doing these manually, and they are being put in there specifically to help brand us, as opposed to brand the client. Now, we do brand the client in there, and there's a link in there that goes back to the client, but we're also promoting us in each of those videos, saying, hey, if you want a video like this, give us a call. And so that's going to, that's going to help us to build that brand. And if you build a local one, it's going to help you to build that local brand. And you can start doing things like a local show on there. Imagine that you go and you interview different people. Now, we're actually starting to do that right now. There's another program that's actually related to Rep Videos, and it's called Expose Videos. And what that does is that does a business interview for you. And it's actually really neat. It works very similarly to the Rep Videos in that there's a newscaster on a news set, and you name the show, and it makes all these news-like graphics for that show. So if you made a show called Video Marketing Madness, then there would be an anchor that comes on and says, hey, welcome to Video Marketing Madness, and we know that finding a good dentist is always a tough thing to do. Well, we spoke to a great local dentist who's going to tell you more about what you can do to find the perfect dentist. And then it does like a news transition and goes to that person talking about that, and then goes back to the news anchor. And so we're able to build a show out of this. So we're going to have a show that does local things on there and interviews local businesses. So the idea behind that is you're building rapport with those businesses, and you get the opportunity to then say, oh, by the way, if you'd like to get this optimized for you and your business, for this set fee, we will optimize it and send it out to all of your channels and all of your social media, and then we can make money doing that. So it's very cool. Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, very
You
good.
do that with radio too, Steve, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good way to get
thing.
your foot in the door. Just say, I'd like to interview you on my podcast. And, you're able to develop the relationship.
Yes,
I found it worked better with like plumbers chiropractors than attorneys, because attorneys just didn't get the sales part of it for some reason. They couldn't connect that I wanted to interview them as a way to develop a relationship and sell them other things. They just didn't get that, even though I told it to them, and they they still didn't get it. And
that's funny, because we actually Corey and I used to do something similar to that. And the lawyers actually really liked that. They jumped all over that. So that's I'm not real aggressive, okay, but never really have been. But I just said, look, I'd like to interview you. This is a way to introduce myself. You can use this interview for anything you want, and then I just like to have you look at some of the other things I have. And one attorney, after I said that, said, well, I don't understand how you're monetizing this. All right. So I don't know how much plainer I could have been, but I interviewed 100 attorneys, and I was able to convince a couple of them to do a handful to do business. Now,
when you think about it, that's probably not a bad close rate. That's a 5% close rate. But I don't know, Ray. I just found attorneys to be kind of blockheaded about that stuff. Or not so much with plumbers or chiropractors, you know.
Well, and I think a lot of it has to do with the plumbers, the roofers, the chiropractors. They have to personally get out there and just hammer away, pardon the pun, at getting new business. Whereas the lawyers, a lot of times, people are coming to them. They're part of a bigger company. They've got secretaries. They've got a marketing team. And a lot of these smaller roofing companies and whatnot, they don't have all of that. They don't have that in place. They've got to be the one hammering away, not only on roofs, but on getting new clients. And I think that's the big difference.
Well, and let me just say, I've got some attorneys that get marketing. They might not get all the fine points of what I'm doing and understand that, and they don't really have to, but they understand the value of marketing, and I've gotten to the point where I can explain it simply enough that they understand it. I'm not using jargon and things like that. So I do have some attorneys that I worked with, but on that interview thing, man, I kept dummying that thing down, and it just seemed like more often than not they didn't get it. So I don't know.
What are you going to do?
Go figure. Yeah.
You can't force them, unfortunately.
Yeah, just a story, And an attorney buddy of mine said, well, attorneys weren't allowed to advertise, and I know that's been 40 years ago since the government threw that rule out, but he said that's so much part of their DNA that you don't do marketing. And he said, I think that's it, whereas chiropractors, they're taught how to market. Palmer College of Chiropractic, they teach you how to market your business in there. That's part of
they have to.
The classes you take.
And it's ironic that a lot of those types of businesses don't teach that, because I know I've got a friend who he's a dentist, but he actually spends a lot of his time teaching dentists how to do marketing. And whatnot, because he says, you go to dental school, think about all the dentists or have been to. What are they? Most of them are independent business owners, that happen to do dentistry, and they don't teach much of that in college at all. So nowadays, you've got Delta Dental and some of these other things where you're a dentist, you just get hired by someplace to be a dentist. But for decades, it was always got out of dental school, you opened up a dental practice, and you did it yourself. And they don't teach a lot of that. So a lot of the dentists need that help, but they're not necessarily sure where to turn, You can tell because, how often have you seen a commercial for a dentist on TV? It's not very often. Even in the early 90s, when it was the cable boom and cable TV commercials were everywhere, there was still very few dentists that did that. It's only more recently that we've started to see more dentists do commercials, because they're, you've got some of these things that are grouping together. Because now you go to the dentist, and usually the dentists that I've gone to in the last few years, you go in there and they've got just seat, like a bus. It's just dental chair after dental chair with just a little partition between them. Whereas when I was a kid, it was like you went into a dental office and maybe they had, two offices, chairs. One for the hygienist and one for the dentist, and that was it. Yeah. And so it's changed. So now that they're grouping together and there's money pooled, you're starting to see commercial type stuff, but it's still pretty rare. So you have to
my
really,
dentist, my dentist, when he went to Creighton here in Omaha for dental school, he's from Southern California, went to college in SoCal somewhere, came to Omaha, and you get a lot of California kids coming to Creighton because there's just more kids that want to go to dental school in California than they're opening. So, we get a lot of that here. And as he was getting a year away from graduating, or 2 years, he befriended a dentist who was going to retire in a couple of years, bought his business.
Yep.
And then what he did after that was billboards and flood the areas with direct mail. And he sold his practice a couple of years ago for millions of dollars. He still works there. So, there's money there.
There definitely is. And that's the other part of it, too, that we have to understand, when going out and marketing, because a lot of people say, well, I like to market to dentists, but they're tough to get in with, and they don't want to do a lot. And much of the reason for that is if you think about it, dentists probably don't have to advertise nearly as much. People know they need to see the dentist. They trust they trust dentists in general. It's not something that they have to go crazy with. People understand what dentistry is. They trust it and whatnot. So they're only competing against other dentists, which is why flyers will work really well and things like that. But I think with a lot of the national competition, the Delta Dentals and all that, it's going to come to the point where they're going to have to fight with those, because even in Google, if you look at Google's terms of service for Google My Business and whatnot, they'll tell you right out there that, without saying it exactly, they're basically telling you, hey, if Delta Dental moves into the area, they're going to beat you out on the maps, period. And they tell you that right in there. They tell you if you've got a business that has a national reputation, it's going to get an advantage over you. So they're going to have to start working harder at this as these types of bigger business dental companies start to roll into town. You could be number one today, but if Delta Dental opens up down the road, it's like when people complain that Walmart moved in and put them out of business. It's going to be the same thing. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't doubt it. And a little bit off the subject, something you mentioned about, back in the days when cable TV had a stranglehold on the market, which has not been the case for a long time, and you could get the local cable ads. I knew a guy that was the first person to say to banks, just because somebody bounces a check doesn't mean they're a deadbeat. Okay, it's a lifestyle choice. They want to get that TV today, and if you cover that check, you can charge them what was then $10.
Right, now it's what, $35 probably?
Yeah, it was $25 when I retired. But you could charge them $10, and they don't have to pay check systems another $10, and you're a hero. And that's a really good source of non-interest income, okay? It became a great source of non-interest. He was the first guy to ever tell banks that. And then he said, and then the best way to get those people in the door is offer totally free checking and a free gift. That was revolutionary in the 80s, early to mid 80s. And then the cheapest form of acquisition was cable TV and direct mail. Because, with direct mail, you could take it down to the carrier route level and look at where they had activity. And that was a good indication of where they could get more business. And then the only other media that would allow you to go down to that kind of level was cable TV. And they still can. It's just the audience isn't there.
Well, the problem is people aren't watching TV nearly as much, right, and those that are usually watching it on a DVR, and they're skipping the commercials. We were just talking to a business the other day we're switching them over to a lot of online and digital marketing with videos and whatnot, and their biggest problem has been they put money into cable TV and they're just not getting anything out of it. And again, it's tough to say, when you get business, did you watch it on TV? Who knows? It's difficult to track that kind of thing.
It's impossible. Yeah.
But, they said straight up, they're like, we spent all this money on cable, commercials with these nice videos. We didn't see any increases in sales because of it. And the big reason is, unless you are advertising on live sports where people want to watch it live, you're going to get people just skipping your ads. It's just that simple. And so you switching over to this is the ironic thing. Okay, back what are we going back? Maybe 8 years ago, somewhere around there. Between 7 and 10 years ago, the big thing was that eyeballs watching on a computer were not worth the same amount of money as eyeballs watching on TV. Now, why is that? Because somebody decided that was the case, and that person was an absolute moron. Right. And here's why. Let's look at the landscape now, okay? If somebody's watching Hulu on a laptop versus watching cable TV on their TV using a DVR, guess what? The person watching television, they skip that commercial, but the company is paying more for that commercial to be on TV for them to skip it. On Hulu, the same eyeballs are watching Magnum PI which I could say that, old or new, either one.
Yeah,
still
it's a
on
new
the air.
one. Yeah, that's right.
So they could be watching Magnum PI on Hulu, and guess what? They can't skip the commercials on Hulu. So now, which eyeball is more valuable? Clearly the one watching Hulu that charges a quarter the price of TV. Because somebody decided that somebody watching on a computer is worth less money than somebody watching on a TV, but now people can skip on the TV, they can't skip on the computer, but they're paying less on the computer for it. And the cable companies can't get people to buy anymore. And that's why. Because they've shot themselves in the foot with all this stuff. You know, so it's
right.
the media companies, even after all these years, I still think are not prepared for this new digital economy. They're not up for it. They're way too stuck in the 1950s, and they don't want to change that. And it's kind of sad. And that's why you saw, you know, to this day, right now, you would think it's easier than ever with Hulu and Netflix and Apple Plus and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus and PlayStation View, and I mean, name 100 other things where people can watch video online, right? And yet, it's still easier in many cases to go and get an illegal download to watch a TV show than to try and find it online and be able to watch it. Because, oh, okay, it's on Hulu. Oh, no, this is only available in this area. Okay, wait, what about on Netflix? No, that only last season is on Netflix. Oh, what about here? You know, it's a mess. It's difficult and hard to watch anything on there. So people are still going online and just downloading the illegal version because they can get that there and they can't get it anywhere else very easily. So, you know, it's just a mess. This has nothing to do with what we started talking about, by the way, but it's very, very interesting because it does deal with online advertising and video and just cable TV just not doing it for people anymore. You know, I can't even tell you the last time I dealt with somebody doing cable TV. I mentioned that one that in the past did cable TV, trying to get rid of it, but you know, I haven't worked with anybody getting a something onto cable TV in a decade, literally. Yeah. So,
well, they're probably
go figure.
Still getting some buys based on cost per impression, but they're able to charge a lot less than what they could in the 80s. You know. Adjusted for inflation and all that.
Yep,
and,
absolutely. And I don't even know what the prices are anymore these days, to be honest with you, because I just haven't kept up with it because there's no need. You know, when you got YouTube, when you got Hulu, when you got you know, YouTube channels, when you can put video on your website, and you can put it on Facebook. You know, I don't want to deal with media buying anymore these days anyway. So.
Well, there is a company called Lee Enterprises, and they own a bunch of newspapers. And they're in small and medium-sized markets, and people do read the paper in small and medium-sized markets, but also they have become very savvy at the digital side of it. So you know, their digital online product. In many cases, you're going to see a lot of videos, you know, on there. And a lot of stuff done with iPhones, and then they're working with social media a lot. They make it easy to read. So in the case of the digital edition of the Omaha World Herald, you're not going to find another news source like that in Omaha with that number of reporters and everything else. And Lee Enterprises manages the World Herald for Warren Buffett. And they have become very savvy at all things digital marketing. But, you know, they're known as probably the best newspaper company in the country. Their stock price keeps going up. They keep making money, even in the newspaper business. One of the reasons is the digital marketing thing. You know, the other is they like to focus on smaller markets where people read the paper, you know.
Yeah. And it's tough. You know, the old media, it can still work in a lot of ways, but the new media stuff, it's so much easier. It's quicker. It's more visual. You know, you just have a lot more opportunities. And like I said, the whole point of today was to talk about creating these local YouTube channels. And that's really what you can do. You become that local source at this point. And if you could do something that attracts people in there besides just putting up, John's plumbing video. If you can do a local show where you're interviewing people, that's going to get people's attention into there. They're going to be looking at the channel. They're going to see the other videos out there, and they're going to start to hopefully turn to that as a resource. You're going to start ranking videos in the area, and it can really be a big benefit. And when you're trying to work with local businesses and you tell them, hey, we're putting it here, we're putting it here, we're putting it here, you win. You're going to do it. So I think it's a very important thing to do. And again, this is something people ask me about because they know that I had done it in the past, and I'd started kind of doing it again now. And I say kind of. I'm going to be doing it a lot more, but I've been doing it a little bit for a while now. But just want to keep that going. I've got more I want to create in this area. And then basically what I plan on doing is as we get clients, so if tomorrow we got a client who's in Dallas, well, I'm going to create a Dallas one. If we get a client that's in Omaha, we're going to create an Omaha one. If we, I'm not just going to randomly choose cities, but as we get new clients, we'll start making them in those cities to put, even if we just have one client, they'll be on there. We can start adding more afterwards, and then we can really work on that. So I think we can do a lot of good stuff with that. So it's a lot of fun. Good. It's easy, and it gives you kind of a nice, heads up when you're trying to talk to businesses like, hey, we run this local YouTube channel as well for local businesses, so we want to interview you, get you on there, and then of course, oh, by the way, we interviewed you for $300. We can optimize that for you, distribute it out to all of your social media, and really get you some attention. And then we can say, oh, by the way, we do rep videos if you want to do that every month. And next thing you know, you got a client that's doing a bunch of stuff with you, and hopefully you're bringing them a lot of value. In fact, my phone rang 2 times while I was on here, and it was a carpet cleaner that I've got to call back when we get off of here.
Oh, very good.
They're bugging me everywhere. They're calling me everywhere. I love it. It's a good thing.
Well, good stuff today, Ray.
That wasn't nice to say bug. They're not bugging me. But what's that, Steve?
I know what you meant. Good stuff today, Ray.
I think so. I hope so. It's a little scattered, a little all over the place, but that's because that's where it went. Because the conversation goes where it goes sometimes. But there's a lot of opportunities out there for businesses, and local YouTube channels is just one of the many, many ways that you can give an advantage to yourself as you're working with businesses and help them to get found even better. So there you go. Yeah. Get out there. Start doing one. It's not hard.
Yeah. No.
Not hard at all.
Yeah, it's a great way to network in your local community.
It sure is.
Good thing to use if you're in Center Sphere or BNI or the Rotary or whatever. Good tool.
Absolutely. Yeah, think about that. You go into a BNI meeting or a Rotary meeting and you go, hey, we want to interview a bunch of the businesses around here so that we can have a local channel, and you can be the expert for plumbing and you can be the expert for electricians, and just talk about how to find an electrician. How many do you think are going to do that? Because you're not charging them for this. You're doing this for free. Yeah. And the great thing is when you're using something like expose videos that I talked about earlier, not only are you doing it for free, but you don't even have to do a lot. It's all done through the software, so you don't even have to put a lot of work into doing it. So it's very easy to have people do it for free. And then the idea is once they're in there for free, then you can start to offer them other options like, hey, we'll distribute this out and get more attention to you versus just to our channel. And, people will jump all over that. They will. They will absolutely do that. So.
They will. Absolutely will. Yeah. All right. Good stuff, my friend.
So there you go.
Yeah.
But, Steve, how are you going to get leads to talk to these people?
Well, where I get my leads, Ray, is Lead Kahuna.
Lead Kahuna? Tell me about Lead Kahuna. I've never heard of Lead Kahuna.
Lead Kahuna, you can go out there and say, I want every single carpet cleaner in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And it's going to download all those carpet cleaners. It's going to give you the basic contact information, the website, the owner, the email. But it's going to tell you stuff about their website, what it's built, how it's put together, whether it needs some things. It's going to tell you about their Google My Business data. It's going to tell you about their Facebook, how many likes they got, how many times they're posting. Same with Twitter.
Wow. And this is all done with Lead Kahuna?
Reputation. It's all done with Lead Kahuna, right?
Lead Kahuna. That sounds great. And what a great name, Lead Kahuna.
Lead Kahuna. I was thinking of changing my name to Steve Kahuna. What do you think?
That would be good. You could be Steve the Lead Kahuna.
Steve the Lead Kahuna. Be like
Well, we're
a
telling you
wrestler.
all this because, of course, you can, I was playing, by the way, that was the old radio ad. If you ever remember the old radio ads, it was always like, hey, Bob, where did you get that great new car?
Yeah.
Why,
yeah.
Steve, I got my great new car at Bob's Car Company. Bob's Car Company, you say? Yes, Bob's Car Company.
Yeah.
I always
Where's
got a
Bob's-
nice kick out of that. They make sure they say the name 800 times in 30
And the
seconds.
address. And the address. Well, where are they at, Ray? 123 Main Street in Anytown. 123 Main Street in Anytown.
I know exactly where that is.
Isn't
That's
that
the
just
big
around
blue
the corner?
building, isn't it?
Isn't that just around the corner from the Gentleman's Club? No.
Yeah. And all the actors sound like announcers,
Yeah.
They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
sound like
yeah.
humans.
Oh, they all talk
Hey,
like
Bob,
this.
where did you get your new car?
Where did you get your...
Why, I got my new car at Bob's Car Company.
Hey, I got it at Bob's Car Company. Bob's Car Company.
Well, if you want leads, you got to check out Lead Kahuna. Lead Kahuna is available at raythevideoguy.com/leads. But seriously, check it out. You can get all sorts of leads for businesses that you want to work with in any town in the United States and around the world, and get all the information that you need in order to market to them properly, to sell them exactly what they need when they need it, from things like reputation marketing to video reputation to video ads to social media and social media graphics. You name it, you can offer all of it, because you're going to get enough data to know exactly what somebody needs. They got a slow website, you'll know it. They don't have SSL, you know it. Their website isn't mobile optimized, you're going to know it. They don't have a YouTube channel, you're going to know it, and you'll be able to offer them exactly what they need. And that's all by using Lead Kahuna, starting off at raythevideoguy.com/leads. Check it out. And with that, we're going to hit the music and get out of here. I've got a carpet
the
cleaner
heck
I
outta
need to
here.
call right now. Here's the music, Steve. Here it comes.
All right.
See you
He's
guys.
Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.